Hi there, my name is Laika. Welcome to Team Laika, where we try to help you prepare better for your next exam. At dahil laging lumalabas ang subject-verb agreement sa maraming exams, including the civil service exam, LET, LAE, OPCAT, Science High School Test, o kung ano-ano mga exam na yan, this is very important for you to master. Now, as a quick little note lang then, if you are a channel member or sponsor, you have a different version of this video, longer and with more examples. So if you haven't seen that yet, go and find it kasi yun yung para sa inyo. Okay, as a little bit of a thank you rin sa inyong suporta. Kasi that helps us keep the lights on sa ating advokasya and keep making more free videos like this one na for everyone else naman. Okay, so let's jump right in. This video is brought to you by the Team Laika Review books. More about these later. Now, when it comes to subject-verb agreement, there are many rules na kailangan pag-usapan. May ibang articles, may ibang books that would list 15, 21, 26. May nakita mga akong 35 different rules. But dahil we aim to make things easier for you, and specifically para sa mga Filipinos, these are the top rules na medyo na naguguluhan ang mga Pilipino. So we're going to start with the more basic rules. After this, we're going to talk about more special naman na rules in the next video. So again, ito yung first part. Ito yung pinaka-basic, pinaka-essential, kumbaga. At yun ang pag-uusapan natin ngayon. Pagdating sa pinaka-simpleng rule ng subject-verb agreement, we simplify that even further by saying kapag singular, may S, kapag plural, wala. Now, ano bang ibig sabihin nun? Okay, madaling tandaan kasi yung word na singular has an S. So kapag singular, word na singular at yung singular na word na subject doon sa sentence, may S. At kapag plural naman, and looking at the word plural itself, wala rin siyang S. So wala. Now, dun sa aking older video na diniscuss ko tong rule na ito, may ibang naguguluhan. Kasi daw, di ba kapag singular, walang S. Kasi nga, ang cats, di ba? May S, ay plural. Ang singular niya ay cat, walang S. Pero, para mas malinaw para sa lahat, ito ay again, simplified or shorter version nung buong rule, which is this. Pag singular ang subject, may S ang verb. Pag plural ang subject, wala or walang S ang verb. Ito ang pinaka-basic na rule sa subject-verb agreement. A singular subject requires a singular verb. A plural subject requires a plural verb. Now, dito sa taas nitong ating presentation, from now until the end of our discussion, you would see parang formula or simplified version nitong mga ito. Hopefully, an additional mnemonic device to help you remember this better. Again, singular subject, singular verb, plural subject, plural verb. Things will get a little trickier later, pero bago yan, dun muna tayo sa pinaka-basic. Let's look at a few examples. When you see a sentence like this, my dog love or loves playing fetch. Now, ang una natin gagawin ay tanungin ang sarili natin, sino ba ang subject or sino ang bida sa sentence na ito? Sino ba yung nagla-love nung pagpe-play ng fetch? Now, it's a little bit tricky sometimes because later on, as we move along, there will be multiple nouns sa isang sentence. Dito, kung titignan mo, actually may multiple din, parang seemingly multiple verbs. Kasi yung playing itself is an action word. Yung fetch, sa ibang konteksto, ay parang ding inutusan mo siya na may sunduin o kunin. So again, kung looking at it as yung parts of speech lang, as the determiner kung ano ba ang verb at ano ba ang subject sa sentence, hindi pwede ang kabisote dito kasi maaaring maligaw tayo sa kung ano ba ang totoong pinag-uusapan. So sino ba ang mahilig or na-enjoy ang playing ng fetch? It's the dog. Okay? Yun ang ating subject. Now, bakit ko to binilugan? This is a tip, an exercise, something to help you then if you're taking tests, lalo na if you're allowed to write on top of the exam booklet. Ganun ang case sa civil service exam. So if you're taking the civil service exam, just keep that in mind. This is something that you may want to do to help you focus or hone in on the actual subject sa sentence. Para hindi ka maguluhan, bilugan mo kung sino ba talaga ang pinag-uusapan. Okay? So, quick tip lang dyan. Now, kung dog ang pinag-uusapan, ilan ba ang dog? Well, singular yan. Pag sinabi nating singular, ibig sabihin, isa lang ang aso. Now, kung isa lang ang aso, again, sabi natin, kapag singular ang subject, may S ang verb. So, dapat yung sagot natin ay may S din. My dog loves playing fetch. So, the answer here is loves. Now, paano naman kung iba? If we are talking about dogs, this time, yung subject natin ay plural. Marami ng dogs. So, if it's more than one or greater than one, kahit dalawa lang yan, ang subject natin ay plural na, which means ang ating verb ay dapat wala or walang S. At dahil wala siyang S, ang hinahanap na natin ngayon or tamang sagot na ngayon is love. My dogs love playing fetch. So again, that's a very basic rule. Some of you have that ingrained deeply sa inyong pagkatao, which is actually a good thing but can also be a bad thing later on kapag may mga panggulo na. Medyo magiging automatic na to the more that we try to write in English or speak in English, the more we use the language, mas magiging madali na ito at again, second nature na ninyo, hopefully. Okay? Now, doon na tayo sa susunod na example. Now that you know the most basic rule, which is pag singular may S, pag plural wala, things will start to get a little bit more complicated. Kasi dito na papasok yung mga sumisingit. Kaya it's important to ask yourself yung magic question. Now, if you have been a part of Team Laika for a long time, you probably already know this. Ang magic question ay, sino ba talaga ang bida? Kasi again, whether sa mga pelikula, sa mga palabas, sa totoong buhay, wag naman sana, minsan na may mga sumisingit na nangaagaw ng atensyon at pag naagaw yung atensyon mo, magkakagulo na. May magandang example niyan dito sa rule number 2 natin. This is rule number 2. A phrase, a subordinate clause or prepositional phrase between the subject and verb does not affect the subject. Parang ang haba no or complicated. Pero basically, ang ibig sabihin lang yan, kapag may sumingit sa pagitan ng subject at verb, ito ay hindi makakaapekto sa kung sino ba talaga ang totoong subject. At in turn, kung ano ba talagang klaseng verb ang kailangan mong gamitin. Minsan kasi merong tinatawag na tanggalable phrase. Now, this is a term coined by one of my former professors, si Attorney Janet Villa. Hi, Miss AJ, kung mapapanood nyo to. And ang ibig sabihin lang yan, it's a phrase or a clause that you can tanggal-tanggal or you're able to make tanggal-tanggal and the sentence will still stand by itself. Ano ibig sabihin yan? Ito na yung mga interjections, yung mga prepositional phrase, yung mga pandagdag or pangsingit doon sa ating mga sentences. Now, to master the art of tanggaling the tanggalable phrase, ang magic question natin ay, sino ba talaga ang bida? So, tingnan nga natin. In this example, Haley, one of our dogs, loves playing fetch. Now, sino ba talaga ang bida? Kasi yan ang ating magic question. Kasi meron tayo dito na Haley, isa lang yon, isang specific na dog. Haley is the name of my dog, by the way. And then we have dogs right here, na plural kasi may S. Pero ang tanong, sino ba talaga ang bida? Now, isa sa mga keys pagdating sa tanggalable phrases, and again, hindi naman to absolute, minsan wala naman siya. Pero pagdating sa exams, keep your eye out for these. Ito yung commas na ito. You have a comma here and a comma here. Ang ibig sabihin yan ay itong one of our dogs ay dagdag na impormasyon about Haley. Pero hindi kasama yung dogs doon sa buong subject ng sentence na yan. Pwede natin siyang tanggalin. Tanggalin yung sumisingit para malaman kung sino ba talaga ang bida, si Haley, para madali nating makita na kung siya ay nag-iisa lang, siya ay singular, dapat may S yung verb, loves. Haley, one of our dogs, loves playing fetch. Now, why is this exercise important? Bakit maganda na matutuhan na slash yung mga sumisingit, bilugan yung totoong subject? Kasi, kung manonotice ninyo, the word dogs is actually closer to the verb. So, ang tendency minsan ng ibang tao, if they're following the listening rule, at sanay sila na kapag may S na yung noun na malapit dun sa verb, wala nang S dapat yung verb, mas maganda pakinggan yung dogs love kaysa sa dogs loves. Pero, in this case, dahil si Hailey naman ang totoong subject, dogs loves is actually the correct answer. Hailey, one of our dogs, loves playing fetch. So again, kung titingnan natin yung ating formula, kumbaga, para sa mga mathematicians natin dyan who can remember these things better than actual words, ang ibig sabihin lang yan, singular subject, tapos yung tanggalable phrase will still need a singular verb. At yung plural subject naman, na merong kakabit na tanggalable phrase, ay kailangan pa rin ng plural na verb. Nilagay ko siya sa parentheses kasi ang ibig sabihin yan, especially in writing, is that part is helpful but not necessary. Helpful but not necessary. Now, paano naman kung ganito? Our dogs, including Hailey, love or loves playing fetch. Sa case na to, mas malapit si Hailey doon sa verb. Pero, if you have a keen eye for detail, makikita mo na may comma dito, at ang totoong pinag-uusapan ay hindi si Hailey, kasi yung including Hailey ay tanggalable, pero yung dogs. Dogs ang totoong pinag-uusapan. At siya ay plural, which means the correct answer should not have an S. The verb should be in its plural form. That our dogs love playing fetch. At kahit basahin mo ng buo yung sentence, our dogs, including Hailey, love playing fetch. Medyo awkward basahin, aloud, or pakinggan kasi yung Hailey ay malapit sa love. Pero dahil dogs ang totoong bida, dapat love, hindi loves. Rule number 3 na tayo, 2 or more subjects connected by and require a plural verb. So if merong salitang and sa pagitan ng dalawang subject o more than that, in that case, gumagamit na tayo ng comma, magiging plural sila. Nagiging listahan siya or grupo ng mga bagay. So again, yung formula niyan, singular subject and singular subject equals plural subject, which in turn needs or requires a plural verb. Note ko lang na this works kahit na singular subject and plural subject or plural subject and singular subject. And of course, kung plural na nga yung nauuna, may end ka pa, tapos plural din yung isa pang subject. Basta may end, plural verb. Well, madalas, mamaya natin pag-uusapan yan. An example would be something like this. Hailey and Harper love or loves playing fetch. Hailey, isang aso lang. Harper, isa lang din yun. Pero dahil meron na siyang end, this turns this into a plural subject. Bakit? Kasi yung subject nandito ay itong buong phrase na yan. Hailey, 1 plus 1 is equal to 2. So, mahigit isa na yan. Now, dahil plural na siya, kailangan plural na rin yung verb natin or yung verb na walang S. Hailey and Harper love playing fetch. Hindi loves. Pero paano kung ganito? My cute dog and goofiest cheerleader, naglagay ka ng comma, Hailey, comma, love or loves playing fetch. Now, if you are the type of person who would say, hindi, may rule kasi na kapag may end, automatic plural eh. And you hold on to that without really looking at what the sentence means, baka mabiktima ka pagdating sa exam, sa sentence correction, or dun sa choose the best answer. Kasi, kung intindihin natin tong mabuti, meron ngang end dito sa pagitan. Pero, itong tanggalable na part na ito, which again, napapalibutan ng dalawang comma, tells us kung sino ang pinag-uusapan dito. Yung kanyang cute dog and goofiest cheerleader ay parehong si Hailey. So kahit may end dito sa pagitan ng dog and cheerleader, dahil yan ay pareho na nagde-describe or pareho na role na piniplay ng iisang aso, which is Hailey, this will actually act as a singular subject. So, singular ang subject na ito, even with an end. At dahil singular siya, iisa lang yung cute dog at siya na rin yung goofiest cheerleader. si Hailey nga yun, ang verb natin would be loves. My cute dog and goofiest cheerleader, Hailey, loves playing fetch. I was quite young when I first heard itong phrase na ito. For every rule, there are exceptions. Ang ibig sabihin, kahit totoo, yung rule number 2, meron siyang kakabit na exception doon. Again, and is a helpful word, pero hindi siya automatic. Hindi siya laging plural. Depende ito sa paggamit. So, ingat kayo sa ganito. Now, kailan siya magiging plural? Kung ang pinag-uusapan ay hiwalay na aso at iba pa yung cheerleader, doon lang siya magiging plural. So, kung i-reframe ko ito, pwede kong isingit dito, my cute dog, Harper, and goofiest cheerleader, Hailey, which means dalawang aso na yung pinag-uusapan, doon sa case na yon magiging love na ang tamang sagot. Kung nagkataon din na imbis na may end dito, may comma, at yung end ay nandito sa dulo kay Hailey, that would mean meron kang isang cute dog, isang goofiest cheerleader, at pati si Hailey, which brings the total of our subjects to 1 plus 1 plus 1, which means tatlo na sila. Plural na talaga. So again, and is an indicator na magiging plural, but not all the time. Kaya importante na again, tanungin yung magic question, sino ba talaga ang bida? So kung i-revise natin ng konti yung rule number 3 natin, we could say that two or more subjects connected by and require a plural verb unless they count as one. Importante yon. Again, unless they count as one. Kasi maraming mga listahan ng mga bagay that may be used individually, pero pwede rin silang gamitin bilang grupo at dahil they count as one, singular na rin sila. Let me give you another example para mas malinawan kayo, okay? We have this. Penn and Teller is or are my favorite magicians. Now, pagdating sa exams, importante na hindi ito vague. Ibig sabihin nun, you would have all the clues you need to figure out the correct answer doon sa mismong tanong. Sa kaso na to, importanteng pag-isipan kung ano yung mga salitang ginamit sa buong sentence. Penn and Teller, again, meron kang and dyan, but yung be verb, is or are, describes yung kanyang favorite magicians. By giving us a clue na magicians yung pinag-uusapan, marirealize natin that Penn is one magician and Teller is another magician at yung dalawa sila, no, as individuals, ay parehong magicians, pareho niyang favorite. So, pwede natin siyang ituring na 1 plus 1 equals 2 magicians, which becomes plural, kaya ang ating gagamiting be verb ay are. Penn and Teller are my favorite magicians. Now, pwede ko bang i-reword yung sentence na to and make it seem like they're counted as one? Yes. Let me rephrase this. If I say, Penn and Teller blank my favorite. So, Penn and Teller, even if there's an and in here, actually counts as just one subject, that duo, one duo, and that means you now have a singular subject. It needs a singular verb, my S. So the answer is Penn and Teller is my favorite. Again, and turn subjects into plural subjects if they don't act as one. Rule number 4, in sentences that start with here or there, the subject goes after the verb. Ibig sabihin nun, kapag may here and there, SV is based on SS, which comes later. Ito yung tinatawag na flipped sentences in some books. Ang ibig sabihin niya, instead of the structure na meron kang subject that does the verb that comes after it, as in the dog runs or the dogs run, yung action, which is running, comes before the subject. Let me give you an example. The sentence says, here, blank is or are Hailey, my dog. So as you can see, the verb, yung ating be verb, comes before the subject. In this case, dahil ito ay tanggalable naman, the subject is actually Hailey. At dahil si Hailey ay isa lang, singular, ibig sabihin nun, ang ating subject is. Here is Haley, my dog. Paano naman kung ganito? There is or are two dogs who live in our home. Again, meron kang home, pero ang pinag-uusapan talaga are the two dogs. So ito ang subject, the two dogs. Ito ay tanggalable na, hindi na kailangan. Pwede nating sabihin, there is or are two dogs lang yung kailangan sa sentence. At dahil ang two dogs ay plural, plural din ang hinahanap nating be verb, yung walang S. Are. There are two dogs. Or, to read the entire sentence, there are two dogs who live in our home. Now, another way to figure this out, lalo na pagdating sa exam with more complicated sentences, is to flip yung structure ng sentence. I-reword mo siya para maintindihan mo kung sino ba talaga pinag-uusapan. For example, pwede nating sabihin, two dogs are there in our home. Or two dogs are in our home. Mas madali nang ma-figure out na, okay, plural yung pinag-uusapan. Dito naman sa kaninang example, Haley is here. Just to double check kung tama ba talaga yung pinili nating verb. This is a great opportunity for me to introduce the Team Laika review books. And yes, books siya. Kasi we have the practice test booklets. Booklets kasi ang katumbas niya ay 4 na booklets or 4 na sets ng aptitude tests. Each set already has math, language, analytical reasoning, and general information questions. Of course, the answer key, answer sheets so you can practice shading, at more than that, an exclusive QR code that you can scan para makita ninyo kung paano ko sinosolve ang mga problems na ito. It includes discussions on some super secret techniques that I use para siguraduhin makatipid ng oras sa exam at syempre, makapasa. You also have the workbook number 1, hindi siya multiple choice questions pero it's designed to practice your skills para naman ready ka sa fundamentals mo. Skills, techniques, and it's best to use them together. If you're interested, go ahead and message us sa m.me/teamlaika to figure out how we can get these to you. Sa mga bumili na at bibili pa, maraming salamat sa inyo. Thank you for helping me help more people by buying these kasi these help us fund what we do here sa channel na to. Kung hindi dahil sa inyo, it'll be harder for me to make all these free content. So, thank you sa inyong lahat. And now, back to the video. Rule number 5, most indefinite pronouns. For example, each, every, everyone, and nobody are singular. Now, note that the word used here is most, not all, because we're going to talk about those later. But for now, focus on the examples. Each, every, everyone, and nobody. Ang ibig sabihin yan, if you have an indefinite pronoun and it functions as a singular subject, syempre, kailangan niya ng singular verb. Let me give you an example. Sabi dito, each dog has or have a different personality. Dahil ang pinag-uusapan ay each dog, yan na indicator, ito ay indefinite pronoun na singular. So, ibig sabihin ng singular din yung gagawin nating verb, has. Each dog has a different personality. Kung every dog, same thing. Every dog has a different personality. Ay, kakabit ko na rin dito yung rule number 6. This time, again, may asterisk yung IP natin kasi meron ding indefinite pronouns that act as a plural. For example, we have both, few, many, and several na indefinite pronouns din ang paggamit pero lagi naman silang plural. Kung tutuusin, kasi nga kapag both, di ba dalawa yun? So, hindi siya singular kasi dalawa na sila eh. Two na. Kung few, that could be 2 or more. Konti lang siguro mga 5, pero definitely more than 1. Many, literal na marami. So kung marami, malamang plural. At kung several, again, 7 na nga yung root word niyan, ibig sabihin marami siya or higit siya sa isa. So syempre, plural sila. Let's look at this example. Both of my dogs has or have little quirks. So again, we have the word both right here, which is an indefinite pronoun, but this time, it's plural. Both my dogs or both of my dogs have little quirks. Plural na siya, kaya wala ng S yung verb. Now, some of you may say, kasi nga dogs, di ba? Yeah, but there are sentences or there are times na wala ito. And even then, both have little quirks pati ng tamang sagot. Rule number 7 na tayo. I hope you're still with me. Kapag may or nor, anong mangyayari? Now, the verb agrees with the subject closest to it in either or and neither nor sentences. Dito na yung proximity rule. Pag sabing proximity, ibig sabihin sino yung nasa area or mas malapit doon sa verb, siya ang masusunod. Let me give you an example. Neither our cat nor our dogs is or are willing to be left alone. Sino ba ang malapit dito sa ating verb? Is it cat or dogs? Now, you would notice na mas malapit yung dogs. So, dahil siya ang mas malapit at siya ay plural, ang masusunod doon sa ating verb ay yung plural na dogs, which is going to give us a verb of are. Neither our cat nor our dogs are willing to be left alone. Again, kung sinong malapit, siya ang masusunod. Kung babalik rin natin, neither our dogs nor our cat is or are willing to be left alone. Dahil mas malapit na this time, yung cat doon sa ating verb, singular yung cat, kaya singular na rin yung magiging verb. Neither our dogs nor our cat is willing to be left alone. As indicated dito sa ating mini formula right here, so look at the subject that comes after the or nor. Rule number 8, when there are words that indicate parts, the noun after of is the subject. So yung ating formula dito, of, tas meron kang singular subject, kailangan ng singular verb. Of, tas may plural subject, plural na verb. Tingin tayo ng example. Sabi dito, most of our pets is or are dogs. Most is a word that indicates part. One of many. Pwedeng a third, some, pwedeng half, pwedeng a quarter. Anything that would show that it's part of something else. You have the word of right here. Ano yung sumusunod na salita? Pets. Pets is plural. At dahil yung most indicates part of a plural subject, plural din yung ating verb, are. Most of our pets are dogs. Hindi most of our pets is dogs. Paano naman kung ganito? Half of our house is or are the dog's playground. O ano bang pinag-uusapan? Ano ba yung sumusunod sa of? It's house or our house. Ilan lang ba yan? Isa lang. Hindi houses eh. So, ibig sabihin nun, singular yung subject, singular din dapat yung verb. Half of our house is the dog's playground. So again, basta part, kahit fraction yan, kahit word form indicating part, titingnan mo kung ano ba yung nahati niya, ano ba yung kabuuan, at yun ang masusunod. Siya ang totoong bida. Rule number 9, collective nouns na ang pag-uusapan natin ngayon. Now, ano ba ibig sabihin ng collective nouns? These are nouns that function as a group. Mga nouns na pinag-uusapan ay mahigit sa isa, pero they're grouped or clumped together. Now, collective nouns, contrary to popular belief, may be singular or plural depending on the situation. Now, I'm not going to spend a lot of time discussing this kasi meron tayong separate na video doon sa collective nouns. If you haven't seen that yet, ililink ko na lang din dito. That's a longer and more detailed explanation nito. What I'll do right now is just do what we did medyo doon sa words divided by an end. We're going to ask ourselves if they're acting as one or as individuals. Kasi kung isa lang ang ginagawa nila, kung united sila, edi singular yon. Pero kung hiwa-hiwalay sila at iba-iba ang ginagawa nila, ibig sabihin nun, they're acting as many. Tingnan natin ano yung the pack hunt or hunts together. Ang subject dito ay yung pack. Now, ang pack is a group of animals, probably dogs, pwede ring wolves, no? Mga canine natin dyan, or nasa family ng canines. So, the pack hunt or hunts together. We ask ourselves, magkakasama ba sila? They're doing the same thing? Are they united? Na kung makikita ninyo, meron tayong clue word dito, which is together. If they're together, they must be united. They must be doing the same thing. They're acting as one. Therefore, pack in this case is singular, which requires a singular verb, one with an S. The pack hunts together. Hindi ba laging may S kapag pack yung pinag-uusapan? Let's look at a different sentence. This time, pack pa rin ang ating subject. Still a group. But it says the pack stalk or stalks different prey to increase the possibility of success. So imagine natin ito, meron silang mga sinusundan or sinustalk, pero may word tayo dito na clue, which is the word different. Ibig sabihin, iba-iba, hiwa-hiwalay. Even if they're hunting together, in this sentence, ang pinag-uusapan kung paano sila hiwa-hiwalay or gumagawa ng kani-kanilang mga paraan. So, the pack is actually plural. The pack stalk different prey to increase the possibility of success. Ang awkward, no? Pero ganyan talaga minsan sa exam. Kahit hindi siya maganda sa pandinig, o kahit hindi natin to nakasanayan, yun ang rule eh. Of course, there could be better examples dito sa bagay na ito. And you probably would encounter them out there sa exam world. If you do, balikan nyo to Kasi probably extra point na yan for you. Rule number 10, proper nouns like titles of books and movies are singular even if they end with an S. Now, paano natin malalaman kung ano yung proper nouns? Usually capitalized sila. Now, I say usually because there are proper nouns that are still proper nouns na walang capital letters sa simula. Now, how do you know which is which? Usually, sa exams naman, ito na naman yung word na usually, pero itong totoo. Sa exams, madalas nilang ginagamit, yung mga may capital naman na letter sa simula as your clue or hint sa kung proper noun ba siya o hindi. But of course, in harder exams, maybe ones for law school, med school, graduate school, doon na papasok yung, they may test your familiarity with certain book titles or names that may not have a capital letter sa beginning. Minsan naman, sinastylize nila ito using an underline or na-italics nila yung proper noun just so you have a clue. Okay? So remember that. So again, PN, proper noun, singular subject, kaya kailangan singular ang verb. An example of that would be the Philippines. Ang Philippines, di ba, although meron siyang S sa dulo, is a proper noun. It's the name of a country, our country. So the Philippines, even with an S, ang function niya ay singular. So ibig sabihin nun, singular din yung ating verb. The Philippines is beautiful. Hindi are. Ito na yung pinaka meat and potatoes. Remember that? Ng lesson na ito. So using those 10 rules, determine ko ano yung tamang verb sa bawat sentence itong ating quick quiz. And if you're ready with your pen and paper, your timer starts now. Now the best way for you to remember those 10 rules ay gamitin na siya right away. So we'll have our free quick quiz. So get your pen and paper ready. And dagdag lang na suggestion pagdating sa instructions dito sa quiz na ito. I would suggest that you write down kung sino pa talaga ang bida or sino ba talaga ang subject, kung singular siya o plural, before you choose the verb. That way, kahit mag-isa ka nagpa-practice sa bahay, nagpa-practice mo kung paano i-spot ang totoong bida o totoong subject sa isang sentence. Imamark ko or bibilugan ko kung sino yung totoong subject before choosing the verb. Okay? Sige, ready ka na ba? Your timer starts now. All right, let's see how you did. First sentence, each of the students in the reading club prepares a short presentation for the literacy fair. Sabi natin kanina, if you have the word each, that is an indefinite pronoun that works or functions as a singular subject. So ibig sabihin nun, each is a singular subject requiring a singular verb na merong S, prepares. Each of the students in the reading club prepares a short presentation for the literacy fair. Next sentence, the posters on the wall near the entrance attracts a large crowd. Now, sino ba yung nag-attract ng crowd? Yung posters o yung walls yung entrance. Well, tagalin muna natin yung mga tanggalable para simple. Hindi kailangan yung on the walls, hindi kailangan yung near the entrance. It's the posters that do the attraction. So, ibig sabihin nun, ito ay plural, kasi nga posters siya with an S. So, yung ating verb, dapat wala ng S. The posters attract a large crowd. Next, there is or are several booths featuring local authors and illustrators. Now, flipped siya or nakabaliktad siya. Nauna yung there, which means nauuna rin yung ating verb doon sa subject. Eh, sino ba talaga ang bida? Several is another indefinite pronoun. Napag-usapan na natin yan. If several is there, it works as a plural indefinite pronoun na na-affirm pa nung word na booths dyan. So, ibig sabihin nun, we're looking for a plural na verb. It's are. There are several booths featuring local authors and illustrators. Several of the volunteers. So again, with the word several, plural pa rin siya. Again, affirmed by the volunteers with an S. So ibig sabihin nun, ang ating verb dapat walang S. Several of the volunteers help organize the book exchange. Either the librarians or the principal is or are going to announce the winners of the writing contest. Sabi natin kapag either or, neither nor, the proximity rule applies, which means yung mas malapit sa verb ang masusunod. It's the principal na mas malapit sa verb. Ang principal, walang S, ay singular. So, dapat singular din yung ating verb. Dapat may S, is. Either the librarians or the principal is going to announce the winners of the writing contest. The staff. Staff is a collective noun, a group noun. But what are they doing ba? Is or are debating among themselves about which book or book series will capture the children's hearts. Since they are debating, even if staff can work as a singular noun, since they're doing something different, all of them, away-away sila or nagtatalo-talo sila, separate ang kanilang pananaw, hindi sila united, ibig sabihin, we can treat this as a plural na subject, which means it will require a plural verb. The staff are debating among themselves about which book or book series will capture the children's hearts. Next, The Chronicles of Narnia remain or remains one of the most popular series among young readers. As you can see, yung Chronicles of Narnia, capital ang T, C at N, giving us a clue na ito ay proper noun. The name of a book series, so ibig sabihin nun, isang collection siya, isang series siya, singular siya, so the word we need needs an S, remains. The Chronicles of Narnia remains one of the most popular series among young readers. And honestly, one of my personal favorites. Meron ako niyan dyan. Okay, I hope nagkuha niyo lahat ng tamang sagot. But if hindi, okay lang yan. Bawi tayo next time. Ang importante is that you really hone in dito sa top 10 rules na ito. And hopefully, pag na-encounter niyo siya, whether gusto niyo magsalita in English casually, nagsusulat kayo, or nag-e-exam, magagamit ninyo or mapipili ninyo yung tamang verb na gagamitin. Now, I did mention kanina na meron pa tong part 2. We're going to talk about more uncommon, unpopular, at baka unfamiliar din sa inyo ng mga rules on subject-verb agreements. So if you haven't followed this channel yet, go ahead and do that. Hit that bell icon para hindi yun ma-miss kasi it's coming really soon. And again, maraming salamat sa ating mga channel members and sponsors, those who get the books, those who are part of our online review program. Maraming salamat sa inyo kasi kung wala kayo, wala akong pambili ng gamit, pambayad ng internet, at hindi ko ito magagawa lahat para sa as many Filipinos as possible. So, thank you sa inyo. I pray for blessings for you para hopefully we can do this for as long as it takes so that every Filipino, especially Filipino child, receives free quality education. Alright, as we always say sa channel na to, never stop learning. Aja, kaya niyan. I'll see you in my next video and bye for now.